Why, hello, and welcome to issue 680 of Geek in the City Radio. We are coming to you live from the Guardian Game Studios. I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm Venarita.
And I'm Cable Hashitani.
What's shaking, everybody?
Yeah. Apparently we are.
Yeah, I'm Starship acting. It's right. Dun, 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 dun. Why
No,
are you?
That's
Yeah.
fight.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, that's a different kind of Star Trek fighting. How's everybody doing?
Whew.
I know.
I was doing fine and then just took a hard right turn into a fucking Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't even work yesterday, and it has been a Tuesday, so I don't know what's up.
See, that is also part and parcel. My issue is that yesterday was yet another fucking federal holiday. To be fair, MLK 100% deserves a holiday. You know who doesn't? And this is now going to be my platform when I run for any office.
Right.
Banks do not get days off. Banks are open 24/7, 365. Do you know why? Because we are beholden to banks.
Mm-hmm.
We are beholden to banks for all of our financial transactions. They should be open all the goddamn time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man, don't ever go to the UK. There's like every other week's a bank holiday.
Yeah, I know. But why? Why do banks that have all of our money?
You just answered it.
I mean, I know why.
You just
I'm not
answered
a
Right,
fucking
but we
idiot.
need the money, and sometimes there's a problem with the money, and if no one's around, they can't help you with the money.
Yeah, they're not designed to. We know that's
Right.
the reason, but that's why I'm 100% for banks don't get days off ever again.
That's fine.
Either that or we restructure capitalism.
Yeah.
Neither are going to happen.
Also, I think the federal government also doesn't get days off anymore.
I mean, they kind of don't, depending on what your job is.
If you're a senator, you get 100 of those off a
fucking A.
year.
You don't do anything.
No, you don't get a day off ever again. Maybe that will keep some of these motherfuckers from running indefinitely.
Mhm.
No, because they're in charge. So they're never going to. The only thing they'll vote for on themselves are pay increases, which always cracks me up.
For now.
Mm.
They're in charge for now.
You're going to get us a visit from some dude in sunglasses.
Like we aren't all on lists.
I don't give a fuck.
Like you're chugging your beer. I don't give a fuck.
See, you have found my ways.
Yay, I did it. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. We're all fine here. How are you?
It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, Lemon.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so chaotic. I mean, I do know. I cram a lot more into Tuesdays now too, because like Jen's back in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I also she has like a 45 minutes between work and school. So I like doubly make sure there's dinner for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I cram all the stuff I do in like less time. So I can then go upstairs and cook dinner and get it ready.
Right. Yeah. Tuesdays are always crazy busy for me too. And right now we have a new person coming in to help. So now there's that added element of like, well, they don't know where anything is or how anything is, like the preferred way of doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they're only there for half the day. So it's and this was the first day of that. So it was very,
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I also cram it like Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that I get up early and I go to the gym because my gym is open at 7 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Mm.
Oh, that's nice.
Those are the days that I like to go because then I have like basically a 2-hour window, hour and a half of time that I can go work out, have a breakfast before I have to roll in here and start being me, work me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that for Tuesday, that makes it a long day because then I leave the house at like 7 in the morning, 6:45 if I've really got my shit together.
Right.
And then I get home anywhere between 8:30 and 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a long day. Most of that spent in my workplace.
Yep.
Sweet.
That's exactly how it is. Tuesdays, folks.
Mhm.
Tuesdays.
We do it because we love you.
I am not the Palpatine of anything. Why would I be the Palpatine?
Yeah, you're not a Palpatine.
No. God, no.
She's a Palpatine. I am in the worst Star Wars movie.
Mm.
Yes, that's right. The Rise of Skywalker is the worst Star Wars movie. Just come at me. You'll be wrong.
I saw something weird about the fact that how much Disney Plus Star Wars is having to retcon in the one line of somehow Palpatine survived.
What do you mean?
That's why we're getting all of the backstory of cloning and the importance of Grogu in The Mandalorian.
Oh,
Book of
yeah.
Boba Fett.
You're having to explain
Yeah.
all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
Mm.
A line, it's so funny when if you ever watch that movie again, just the pain that he has saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Oscar Isaacs, he just knows, and that we also got to remember, like that's the
Which
best
line?
take. Somehow Palpatine has returned.
yeah. Those I really feel for Oscar Isaac and John Boyega.
All of them, really.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and why can't I'm blanking on her name? What's her name?
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. Like they were great in Force Awakens. They were so excited. All of this energy.
Mhm.
I felt that carried over marvelously in The Last Jedi, and for the Rise of Skywalker, they all but turned to the camera and went, "Yeah,
We
I
know.
know."
Yeah,
no. But back to the movie.
Yeah. Boy, it's bad. Your friends are always here. Poe, Lando, you've known this dude for 20 minutes.
Yep.
Great. Also, never. You know what? We can't go down the whole of how bad Rise of Skywalker was.
No, we can talk about new Star Wars.
We can,
Yeah.
yeah. There was the Mandalorian season 3 trailer, which looked amazing.
I still haven't watched it,
I
but I believe it.
I also did not realize that the new Bad Batch is already out. There's already been 3 episodes.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
started like it was
Like,
real quiet.
why didn't I hear that they were out already?
It was real quiet.
Why?
I don't know. But they very
find
quietly-
out, Cable, and tell me why.
They just okay. Get on the phone to my
That's
homies
super-
at Disney.
That's
It's
super
a-
weird. I
the
don't.
fuck?
Dear Star Wars, why did you not let everyone know about the Bad Batch coming out?
I
Sincerely,
expected
Cable.
an invitation in an envelope. Starts next week. Please tune in.
That's right.
We care about what you think about the show.
It's like you're the little kid in Monster Squad that writes a letter to the army in crayon.
Yeah, okay, Norm. We just talked about the fact that I haven't watched a single episode of it.
I'm the only one who's seen it, Norm.
Like Norm's jumping in. It's like, oh yeah, that was so great. You're like, fuck off.
I'm
I
the only
love
one,
you, Norm. I don't mean that.
I'm only the only one who's seen it because I was working one morning and I hit like writer's block and I was like, oh wait, Bad Batch. I was like, I'll just put the Bad Batch on until like my brain goes through.
Yeah, I haven't I feel like Merrick and I have not been home at the same time together long enough with the amount of brain power to sit down and watch it.
Sure.
Like usually it's like, hey, it's good to see you. I'm tired.
Yeah, totally.
Can we have leftovers? Great.
Yeah. No, it looks fantastic. Like this is also one of those things we've seen coming, especially if you watch any of the Star Wars under kind of Dave Filoni's helm.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be the reclaiming of Mandalore. The season 3, I feel like that's the bulk of it.
Oh yeah, that they telegraph that pretty hard.
Yeah, and you actually see them assaulting Mandalore City
Okay.
from the clouds. Like Grogu way more comfortable with the Force. You see in a couple of scenes, which is that's cool. I like that.
Kicking ass.
Great. We have a
Kicking
force
asses.
sensitive Mandalorian.
Baby Mandalorian
Baby.
Who has-
Baby Mandalorian.
who has anger issues, I think, also.
A little bit.
There was an obvious flashback to Order 66 from Grogu's point of view.
Oh,
You
I
see
missed
Jedi.
that.
You see the backs of Jedis with their sabers drawn. It's the Jedi Temple. So we're clearly looking through Grogu's eyes on that scene.
Great.
Yeah.
Oof.
Paul Sung Hyung Lee has a quick, so he's going to be more prevalent in season 3, I think.
He had
Good.
like whole speaking sequence in the trailer.
I think they maybe retooled some of Carla Gugino's her arc into him because she's
Great.
Yeah, fine.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, that character was not so important to like the plot or the through line of the Mandalorian that it couldn't just be whatever she had to say couldn't just be reassigned.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's a much better actor.
Yeah.
And not a bunch of other issues too. So.
Yep. Also a big Star Wars fan. Huge.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big everything fan.
I was just about to
if
say.
it has lasers or ghosts or monsters or
I still won't rest until the whole that whole family from Kim's Convenience is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But you know, we're getting there.
Who else has joined?
No, it was just Simu.
Okay, I was like, was there some other casting I didn't know about?
No. But like Paul Sung-Hyun Lee is clearly on Disney's payroll.
Yeah,
we can easily roll him in there.
That's true. There's been a lot more crossover these days.
Yeah, he is having, I think, some more fun in Star Wars. Plus, he's economical. You don't have to buy wardrobe for him. He just shows up with his costume.
How's it going? You need to. Oh, you've already been to wardrobe. Wardrobe?
No, what? I do like someone pointed this out. It was cool. So in the clip you see him in, he's wearing a New Republic jacket. If you go back and look, especially in The Force Awakens, the jacket Poe's wearing, it's a New Republic jacket.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Although it's funny, man, it's hard to like get excited with the idea of the New Republic when you know that like it's fucked, and that like, and then see, I can't start, but that becomes my entire issue with the sequel trilogy. That. Everything that was sacrificed in the original trilogy didn't matter at all. Like none of it. So what was and like Vader's sacrifice doesn't matter. Because somehow Palpatine has returned.
Somehow. Palpatine has returned.
I would rather them taking the fucking story arc from Dark Empire, that Dark Horse book.
Yeah.
At least that also had Palpatine back, but at least it was just fucking bonkers the way they did it.
Yep.
You know.
What happens in Dark Empire?
The comic?
It's a bunch of clones of Palpatine.
Yeah, yeah, but you find it, but it makes more sense. Like, what? Like clones make more sense?
Yeah, just the fact that it made more sense. It made
more sense they don't.
What we got.
They don't try to hide it. Like the Republic, the New Republic has known about the cloning cylinders for a while, and they're like, no, we know that he was like never was going to want to give up power, even when his body died.
Yeah.
But then they did these cool things with like the reason why whenever he gets in a new body it decays fast is because he has so much of the dark side. It just makes you ugly
destroys
and old. It just destroys your body.
Yep. He just starts out like it's down to they come out as baby and it turns into old man in 30 minutes.
That's where we got the twins.
That's like a really common / maybe even standard concept of like excessive cloning, especially when you're cloning the clones instead of cloning from the source material.
Oh, I saw Multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, there you go. There's another example.
Yeah.
Don't make a copy of a copy.
Yeah. This is where we got the they were touched on the original Thrawn Dark Empire or Heir of the Empire trilogy about Luke and about Leia and Han having twins. Like they're born in the Dark Empire series. Don't get me wrong, it does get weird also. Like Luke intentionally falls to the dark side so he can get in close to take out Palpatine, but that freaks out Leia, who is also now a Jedi, and she's like, I gotta bring my brother back. And they have a confrontation. Literally, Luke's like, what are you doing here? She's like, well, I sense you fell to the dark side. He's like, I did that on purpose. Shit, you're here now too. I wonder if that's what Palpatine wanted all along. It's like, but like, look, it did show like Coruscant to become a war zone because you forget that like, yay, the rebels run in Jedi. I guess the war's over. If you know how rebellions work, like, no, that's when the real war starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin brings up a really good point. in real life. He gives a real life example. World War One was like just like the worst thing ever, right?
Yeah.
And then 20 years later, let's go for round two.
Sure.
Like it's like the same generation of people, basically.
Well,
It is a very like it can be a very cyclical thing.
Mhm.
it can be, except the rise of, and there's, oh my God, I can't get this whole way. But a big chunk of the rise of what allowed Nazism to rise in Germany is that after World War I, when Germany lost, instead of like helping them rebuild an economy,
No, they made them pay.
They punished them and made them pay
shit
it.
ton of reparations.
Yeah, so by the late 20s, Germany's literally like broke.
Mhm.
Like a family can't pay for a loaf of bread. Here comes this really charismatic guy. So it's like, that's why it doesn't make any sense in the sequel trilogy, because it's like, it's not like it's Imperial remnants that have banded together. The First Order was a super secret part of the Empire that Palpatine kept hidden way out in the Outer Rim because he knew this was all going to happen.
Sure, that part's
Because it was written by the guy who wrote Alias. He's a shit writer.
Also,
Doesn't matter what's in the box. The only thing that matters is the box. Pretentious douche.
I
You know
didn't
who's
watch
never
Alias,
going to
so.
produce Season of the Bruja as a movie? That would probably be J.J. Abrams.
Mhm.
Probably not.
Yes, Kevin, I said Rim.
Not a concern.
Child.
Also, Gina Carano's movie made $804
Yeah.
over opening weekend,
Yeah,
and
so
I
much-
She has a
fucking
movie?
love it.
Yes, she did. It was a
And
very,
they're already announcing another one that she's doing.
Great.
yeah, so much for go woke, go broke.
I mean, I assume she got paid.
I think Ben Shapiro wrote the movie
I believe so.
Okay.
or was involved in it. Yeah.
Is this what I don't remember? Is this the one about Hunter Biden, or is it a different
Oh,
one?
it might be. I don't know. Oh boy, that one's bad. No, the Hunter Biden one, she's like a pseudo narrator.
I'm not looking any of this.
I'm not
up.
going to look any of it up because it'll give them whatever.
Yep.
Oh,
No.
Norm says he produced it.
Okay.
No, the only one he'll write is Brett Hawthorne. Brett Hawthorne.
Okay.
Oh my God, Brett Hawthorne. Although apparently, people are upset that the Gina Carano / Ben Shapiro film is still too woke. I can't.
know.
That's the end of the line. For like hardcore right wing people are still not happy.
Is it because of chicks in the lead?
I don't even.
You can't have something with a
right-wing
vagina
people
kicking ass.
Are immediately
Gross.
a contradiction because they actually don't know what they believe in. They will tell you what they believe in.
And it won't make any fucking
matters.
sense.
It does not match anything at all what they do.
Right.
Extremists of on any side. That is
They're
the
the
truth.
mad Brett Hawthorne.
Whatever you believe in, if you were an extremist, your beliefs and your actions are going to be two different things.
Has anyone? I don't know if either of you played the game either, but has anyone even started to watch The Last of Us?
No,
No.
I definitely want to, but I haven't started yet.
I probably won't,
Really?
because the game is already like unabashedly and brutally emotional.
Oh,
And
okay.
and from what I've read, they've done such a good job. It was like, I don't need to go through that again. I just and Last of Us 2 is even worse.
I
Never
can
played.
easily watch this because I've never played the game.
Yeah, it's great.
It's unlikely
And
that
also,
I'm
I
going to.
enjoy being devastated.
Oh, then you're gonna fucking love
Yeah,
it, especially
do
if they
both.
build enough clout that they can do Last of Us 2.
If they make a Lego version of Last of Us 2, then I will end up playing Last of Us.
Yeah, I don't think it works.
You'd be surprised.
Last of Us 2, I'll give one quick little thing away. It's not like an element. It is, but so Last of Us 2 does this great job of you playing the main character from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And by now you're like a stone cold killer by now.
Oh shit, Anna Torva's in it too.
And you're taking out like not only just like the fungal zombies, but you're like laying waste to entire groups and like societies that you don't agree with. And granted, they're like dicks, but they're also just trying to survive. the game does this amazing thing because by now you've racked up more levels and equipment, and you're like a one-woman murder machine. You're like John Wick wishes he could kill like she does.
Yes, Bane is a one-woman murder machine.
But halfway through the second game, the narrative switches perspectives, and you begin to play as the woman who's also trying to keep her people safe. That the main character that you have already gone on a murder spree.
Okay.
And now it switches perspectives about how you now, as that character, has to endure what you did.
I love it.
Oh my God. And then, yeah.
I'm here for it.
So it's a game that
Also, this
teaches
fucking cast.
radical empathy.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I know a lot of gamers that felt betrayed because in the main character, they saw themselves, especially a lot of queer women.
Mm-hmm.
But the game is pretty honest with like how humans work.
Mm-hmm.
And it pulls away the whole idea of like, yeah, we've just gotten used to that when you're the main character, the hero of a game, you're the good guy, you're the good girl, you're the good person, and you're against the world.
Mm.
And Last of Us 2, about halfway through, goes,
Are you though?
Are you though? Are you sure? Yeah.
I've never played Last of Us 2, and I didn't know that about the mechanics of the game. I like that. Because I don't. Here's the thing. Like the thought experiment of if you're playing a video game and you can go ahead and be the bad guy, so many people just choose. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to go murder things. It's like with D&D or any RPG. Yeah. We'll stop mentioning D&D for a while. With any RPG where you get murder hobos, it's like, yeah, we're just going to go in and kill this, and do that, and steal this. It's like, why? Well, because we can. Does that mean you should?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there are no consequences because this is a game?
So one of my role-playing games I played in, like right out of high school, this character played I think they were like a lawful good, like fighter, nothing fancy. But after every combat, we realized that he never looted the bodies. And finally we asked him, like, why aren't you like just gold and treasure? And I don't know if he was talking for the character or for himself or a little bit of both. And he's like, it is already enough that I have killed them. It is immoral to strip their corpses. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you're playing a lawful good character. Like, okay, I've already killed them. Now let's take everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looting the bodies is like strictly a gaming concept, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't even see it that much in like action movies.
I mean, yeah, you steal clips or walkie-talkies or whatever, but not in the way it's done in role-playing games and video.
Yeah. You take the motherfucker's boots if you like them.
Yeah, Kevin just mentioned it. The game is in the first game, like your character's like, in terms of like weapons, she's kind of useless, and you progress as it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when you have to take someone out, it's because like you have no choice. By the second game, she's like, fuck everyone. That's what I really liked about when they did the reboot of Tomb Raider. Eventually, she becomes a murder machine because it's a video game, and they eventually give way to the trappings of that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the first reboot of the Tomb Raider games, when Lara goes to like learn to use a bow after she's stranded on the island, like she has to kill a deer to eat. You have no food when you start.
Mm-hmm.
And even when she pulls the first bow, the mechanics it does to show that she's uncomfortable and not good at it yet is the crosshair just keeps moving, and she's going she's terrified to like let go of the bow. By the end of the game, you're like fucking driving piton spikes into skulls while spin kicking and shooting an AK-47. Sure. But it makes an attempt.
Wow, there's been so many
all these
Tomb
things
Raiders.
to teach us that human life doesn't matter.
Yeah, which is kind of weirdly, it's why I've been appreciating the new God of War games. The whole point of those things is that he hates gods because they fucked him. So he's already killed the Greek pantheon, and now he's in, Norway.
Sure.
But now he's like old. He wants to be done. And the other gods are like, we know who you are, you fucking God of War. He's like, no, I'm done. I don't want war anymore. Like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we're gonna take your kid. Because by the way, we think your kid is Loki, and we're gonna take your kid, and he's gonna cause Ragnarok. He's like, you're not taking my son. They're like, yeah, we are. He's like, well, then you're getting an axe to the face.
Yeah.
But every time he's always like, I want to be done. Can we just go home? Thor shows up. Fuck. No, I can't. Because you assholes won't leave me alone.
It's the,
Oh.
I think my favorite adage from Men in Black. It's Will Smith, Agent J.
Mm-hmm.
Don't start nothing. Won't be nothing.
Yeah.
I think about that every single time I am confronted with conflict in life. Don't start nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Won't be nothing. Man, if that doesn't turn my attitude around to, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
From I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
That one. Whew, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
We're gonna take your kid.
It's the
No.
precursor to fuck around, find out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
As is considering we are currently in the find out decade
yeah, massive
We
amount of find
sure
out.
are.
era. We're in the find out era. We've come from the fuck around era.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
We didn't necessarily do the fucking around either. That's the part that's annoying.
I mean,
We have done our own fucking around.
yes, yes.
We are
Yeah,
not
right.
blameless. I get that. But man, there's a
There's also the
generation ahead.
institutionalized fucking around that
Yes.
you didn't know was fucking around until much later in life.
No, because they hid it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yes.
Uh,
What else we got going on?
well, I was gonna while we were still near to Star Wars, I wanted to talk about the fact that I have been trying. So it's two things. One is a piece of information I did not previously know and weirded me out for most of the evening
Okay.
that I discovered while I was on point one, trying to ascertain whether or not the cast list and character list for Ahsoka had been finalized. Because I saw something on the Instagram. For the most part, like Ahsoka is Ahsoka. There's actually two actresses playing Ahsoka. It's
Right.
Rosario Dawson and then a younger actress
Mhm.
is
Okay.
playing younger, like Padawan Ahsoka. So
Right.
the flashbacks with Hayden Christensen will be as Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka.
Right. I hope they use some of that de-aging on him.
They might.
They might.
We'll see.
But so this is going to be some Clone Wars era stuff.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
Clone Wars era flashbacks, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
Ahsoka is shaped up to be Dave Filoni going, no, I really just want to do Clone Wars and Rebels live action. Can I do that? And Disney went, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're getting Sabrine, Ezra, Hera.
Yeah. Yeah. Ezra is in it, so we get Ezra back. The thing that I haven't confirmed yet is whether or not Mary Elizabeth Winstead is playing Hera Syndulla.
That was one of the only ones that I could see as being like consistently being mentioned.
She's in the cast list, but they've never said who she's playing. Her playing Hera makes sense,
Yeah.
but they have never really said that. The other one is still that it's still rumored, and I would love this to be true, but Grand Admiral Thrawn would be played by Lars Mikkelsen, who plays him
Yeah.
in Rebels.
Mhm,
And
Yeah.
yes, he is related to Mads.
mhm. I think we talked about that not
Yeah.
too long ago.
Fuck, I want that to happen so bad.
Yeah, I keep wondering because like Star Wars, Disney's not done making more Star Wars,
No.
and they're gonna have to move the story forward, but not part of the Skywalker saga.
Great.
Yeah, great. I feel like the way they can go is they go High Republic, so they go like 1,000 years before Battle of Yavin.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that. Well, Solo didn't do well, so I don't think we're gonna get it. But I would really love like an Ocean's 11
Mhm.
type heist movie. With,
I think
but
we
Star
still might
Wars.
get another Solo film.
I want Lando's 11.
Yeah.
That's basically what I want.
I still think we're gonna get that.
Yeah, I
don't
think so
it's
too.
Fully off the books. I think they're like, it wasn't quite right yet.
Well,
Right
that was
now
when
we
there was a
didn't-
new Star Wars movie every year. Like even I was like,
Yep, because
don't
they
wanna
thought
go-
that was the way to go, but then they started making the TV shows.
Mhm. So I wonder, like,
I always prefer a TV show over a movie, just because they like you get to go much
You get
more
to go
in
deep.
depth. You get
Yeah.
way more, bang for your buck.
I mean, I like both for different reasons. Like,
Mhm.
I like this grandeur and spectacle that only a movie can provide.
But the way shows are produced nowadays, I think they're comparably grand, and that you get to just go so much deeper into the characters and the storyline. And
I feel when you are dealing with
Gimme.
things like Star Wars, Marvel, Star Trek, what other giant things are out there? Anyway, like they benefit from having both.
Star
Yeah.
Trek.
Like you have, yeah, that's right.
Eat it. Yeah.
Like you have your big movies, you have the things that are finite stories,
Mhm.
but you get to fill in the gaps with
I think
all these other TV
I think
shows.
initially, I'm trying to remember. I want to say when Ron Howard first got attached to Dark Tower, that was the plan.
Mhm.
Was like a series, a movie, which wrapped up that season, and then like 2 more seasons, another movie. Like they were all one. Maybe it was Dark Tower. I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, the thing I run into with all of these shows, like The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, all of them, is like the same thing I ran into in the prequels. In that, depending, and I think the new shows have a better chance of like skirting this issue. One of the biggest mistakes the prequels make is they try to put Anakin and Obi-Wan in some form of peril when you know they have story immunity. At least until the end of the 3rd film. One of them, yeah, they have story immunity. So like during like the car chase scene in Attack of the Clones, I never once like, or how are Anakin and Obi-Wan going to get out of this? I'm like,
Sure.
They're gonna.
Versus their fights in Obi-Wan or in Kenobi. Like, yes, we still know how that turns out, but those felt like something that you could be a lot more emotionally connected to.
They were more emotional
and
fights.
Felt like peril.
It's a really challenging way of storytelling, is how to make sure that the audience is invested and gets like anxious about the outcome, even though intellectually they know
so that
they're gonna live. They're in those other movies that I've
Vader's
already
setting
seen.
Kenobi on fire in their first meetup since the prequels, and then that whole we're gonna throw up most of this planet at one another.
Yeah,
it's like
So I
those
guess-
were fucking fights.
Yes.
I guess that's what I mean with shows like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, because we know that in another 15 years, because these are all roughly 5 years after Jedi or whatever,
Right.
that in another 15 years, we're going to get The Force Awakens. And like, not a single one of them mentions like Mandalore, or if the Jedi are allergic, like no one talks about the Jedi. So it's like, how do they explain that what happens in all these shows is never once ever referenced like again? Unless it's going to be almost a form of parallel storytelling where the shit they're doing with like potentially Thrawn, he's going to be the next like focus
Sure.
of whatever the next new Star Wars trilogies or whatever are going to be. Yeah, that's kind of where I land on all that. Like, I still enjoy it all, but I'm like, ultimately, and like, where does it mean? Where does it go? What does it matter?
I feel like this is one of those things that Last Jedi did well and laid groundwork for. You are only seeing one part of the story.
Yeah.
And that is the casino scene in Last Jedi. Which I defend this scene all the goddamn time because people are like, it's useless, it's stupid. Why did it even go there? It doesn't further the plot. It doesn't do this. I'm like, it was designed to show you that people, A, profit from war,
Sure.
regardless
On
of
both
who they're
sides.
on both sides. And 2, there's an entire section, like the war is going on, and there are drastic swaths of people who are directly unaffected by it. Like they are not on the front lines. It's an intellectual concept to them that, oh yeah, the bad guys and the good guys are fighting, but we don't really know anything about that. I've got to shovel shit or serve drinks to rich people, and the rich people don't care.
Because they're not affected either.
Right. Like, so I think that was one of the things that I love about that scene is like, of course, we keep seeing only this one part.
Mm-hmm.
So there is still the nebulous, okay, so why don't they mention that? What don't we know?
Mm-hmm.
I think the hardest part that they're going to have going forward is getting the Star Wars public. I don't mean like the fans, but like the general public that enjoys watching Star Wars and it comes out in the theater or what have you.
General public.
Yeah, the general public. Like, yeah, Kevin, that's a completely different thing though. And I'm not going to go into that whole part.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get that general public interested in a Star Wars that doesn't revolve around a Skywalker, Rebels, and Imperials? Because the Resistance and the First Order was the same damn thing. I still don't understand why it couldn't be. I never bought the whole like Leia's like, hey, there's still problems out there, and they're like, we're not going to believe you, even though you spent the last 40 years fighting, and then we elected you as a fucking senator and then as a president, but we're not going to believe you. She's like, well, I'm going to go start my own little army. And they're like, okay, warmonger. Like, okay.
That's not going to happen. They're going to go, no, Leia said this. We're following. We're doing it.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That's difficult to defend against. I do think that, like, I consider my sister to be part, and her family.
Mm-hmm.
They're part of they're the general public who watches Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're not, like, if my sister has any trivia knowledge about Star Wars in her head, it's because she paid attention to me for 5 minutes.
Sure.
Growing up and had to listen to me. And summarily went, ugh.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
She's geeky. She has her own things. But that, like, I think they are still finding interest. Like, they still are watching Book of Boba Fett. They're watching The Mandalorian. It's like, yeah, this is great. Like, I don't care there's a Skywalker in it. I don't care. It's just more Star Wars.
Sure.
So I think there is a large portion of the general populace that's just invested in the universe and don't care if Skywalker's not in there.
Okay.
I agree with that. I don't think that the Skywalkers were the most, I'll say, interesting, not important part of any of the earlier films.
Sure.
Well, I don't mean just Skywalker in general, but just that whole core of those movies.
Right.
Especially because, you know, all the stuff about like the Jedi versus the Sith and all that. That's sort of the section that was like really inspired by other sci-fi stories from a different era, and that's not the same type of storytelling that is more commonplace and appreciated now. And so I think that's why these other series are doing so well, even though they're not relying heavily on Jedis and Empire, and because there's a lot of other really interesting stuff to do in sci-fi besides space wizards.
And I'd say I'm okay if Star Wars doesn't have some space wizards for a while. It's probably one of the reasons why I like Andor so much. One of the many reasons why I like Andor so much.
I need to watch it again.
It's so good.
It was dense.
How did we get onto the Star Wars?
Because
we started with
Mandalorian season 3 is coming.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay.
Which does still have a lot of space wizardry.
Yeah. It's gonna have it, yeah.
But it's not. That's not the main point of the Mandalorian.
And I wanted to talk about the Ahsoka casting.
Right. Yeah.
Hoping. So the weird thing that I then hyper fixated on is that one of the leads that I read about looking up casting for that and reading about Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So I'm like, I need to find out whether or not she's playing Harrison Dula. One of the news link came up with about Ewan McGregor. It's like, I didn't ask anything about Kenobi. It's like, and the blurb is like, Well, yeah. As she's my partner, she was asking me about this, and I was giving her some advice about what to do in Star Wars. And I'm like, back the fuck up. What do you mean, partner? Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ewan McGregor got married last year.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
They have been together for 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
Going on 6. Did not know this. Hit me completely out of the blue. Yeah, they married last April, I think. And I'm like,
Speaking of things happening very quietly.
huh. I read the entire timeline of how they came to be and just kind of sat there going, what?
How did they meet? In
They
27
met on a movie together.
Fargo, 2017.
They met on Fargo. They were both
The
married.
show, then, not the movie.
Yeah, the show. They were married to other people. Those marriages came to an end naturally on their own. Although I think something sparked between them on Fargo.
Sure.
They started dating not long after both of their marriages were done. Yeah. And have just been, very quietly dating in the background.
Look at you go, Ramona.
Like, to the degree that, like, I'm reading this and had to be reminded, oh, right, Ewan McGregor is in Birds of Prey. I fucking forgot that. He's Black Mask.
Oh,
the
like
movie's
that's
villain.
right.
I love him in that.
He's great. I love him.
He's so good.
But I'm like,
The character's repulsive. And
man,
it's
I
great.
completely forgot that.
I forget nothing about Birds of Prey. I unabashedly love that movie so much. And it gets so much hate. And I'm like, you're all wrong.
They are.
You're
that
just
movie is
wrong.
fantastic. Yeah, you're reading the same article
I
did. I'm
figured
like,
it was the same one.
Look at this
fast,
timeline.
I fast forwarded to.
Well,
Birds
hopefully
of
this
Prey.
helps Mary Elizabeth Winstead because she still hasn't had that big breakout hit that can make her kind of explode.
I mean, I don't know that she's been
I
trying
always-
to explode.
yeah, I always wonder
she's
if-
had steady
Yeah,
work.
She tried. She had that Netflix action movie that was clearly meant to be a starting action vehicle for her.
What?
Oh yeah, I heard that was bad.
It's very bad.
Yeah,
This was unfortunate.
and slightly racist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, whose fault is that?
But she's always in movies that like either get that are like usually almost always as a rule critically acclaimed, but never do that well.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's in 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is great.
It's a great movie.
But if she wants some
She's
kind of
great
action
in it.
shit, it's not there. Scott Pilgrim versus the World didn't light the world on fire.
Nope, but
Which
it
is
is
for various
it's
reasons.
a cult favorite.
it is a cult favorite.
Yeah, but
It's back on Netflix. I need to watch it again.
But-
Oh, I forgot she was in The Thing. That she's great in that. Also a great movie.
really? The prequel to The Thing?
Yeah.
It ends the same way The Thing ends?
Yeah, I love it.
So it's just, yeah.
It ends.
Are you being an old man about that?
It ends.
I don't get the point.
The
to-
ending of
Sure.
the
With the
Thing
dogs running
prequel
to- yeah.
is set up to feed directly into the
Yeah.
original The Thing.
Yeah.
So it's if you're annoyed that the Thing prequel ends the same way that the original Carpenter Thing ends, that's the fault of John Carpenter then. Because
No, that's not what I meant. I meant was like because I watched the new version, The Thing, and I was like, all right, so the Norwegian scientists have found a spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
They've let out the Thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Thing's gonna do what the Thing does.
Uh-huh.
So they're all gonna get paranoid.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna go watch The Thing.
But it's the story of what the fuck happened to those
We know what
Swedes.
happens.
Yeah, now. I mean,
You
like,
knew
you have
from
a general
you
idea,
knew
but you
from
didn't
The
enjoy
Thing.
watching. You're wrong. You're just wrong. It is
Okay, so the Norwegians find a crashed ship
Mm-hmm.
and they warm up part of it, and that lets the Thing out. And then the Thing begins to copy the scientists, and they all get paranoid and don't trust each other.
And then spoilers, it ends up in the dog, and the dog gets away, and that's when Kurt Russell finds it.
Okay.
They line up perfectly. They are meant to be together like that. It's
Sure.
I haven't watched it.
you should watch it.
Okay.
The new Thing movie feels very much like, how can we make a quick $80 million? I know. Let's just reshoot The Thing, but have it end with the dog and the helicopter going to McMurdo.
That's how the Carpenter version starts, so that's how it has to end.
what I'm saying is that, like, what was the point of that movie? And I guess, like all movies, in the end, the point is to make money. You may have an artistic statement you wish to make.
I feel that there is, and this is much the same thing about the various Star Wars that are out, the various Star Treks that are out. They are different gateways to get people into the same fandom.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. What if a young person has never seen John Carpenter's The Thing, but they watch this new one and they're like, that was great. That was a lot of fun. Maybe I should watch the other one.
And when they watch the
now-
other one, they'll be
and
like,
now
well, this one's just a rip-off of the one I just saw. And you're like, no. Look, I saw it, and I just remember thinking, like,
I've seen this movie.
I could have saved $20 and just stayed home and watched my Blu-ray of The Thing and gotten drunk while watching it.
You know what? And that's why Mary Elizabeth Winstead isn't a bigger star, because of opinions like yours.
No, because I just defended Birds of Prey, which everyone apparently loathes, and you're dumb for thinking it's a good movie.
Who are these people that think it's a dumb movie? Is it the same Chads that defend everything that Snyder has ever done? Who
No, I
turn
don't
out to
engage
be
with them.
Russian
I don't
bots
engage with them
anyway?
at all.
Like I am starting to believe that these are not real people.
There's a lot of bots for sure.
Yeah, they are not real people. And if they are a tiny minority.
Norm just mentioned that he's right. Ian McGregor has one of the best "oh fuck" yells ever in Birds of Prey. When he realizes that the hand grenade has been slipped onto him, and he just goes, "oh fuck," and he blows up.
Yeah, the Rotten Tomatoes has Birds
my
of
God.
Prey at 79%.
That's shocking.
That's actually
That's a
more than I
really
thought.
good score, right?
Okay.
Don't they hate everything?
No, not really. It all depends if they get review bombed.
Which they
Usually,
do a lot.
review bombing is meant to make something turn out poorly, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but Birds of Prey was review bombed when it first came out.
It was, yeah.
That was not its original score.
No, it's one of the ones that has done better.
Is that good?
I don't think so.
I have no idea.
But I
I was
also
pulling
don't,
up the box office.
I also don't believe box office numbers.
I don't understand box
Well, that
office
doesn't
numbers.
count ever. I mean, that's not box office numbers are never a mark of quality. Otherwise, the Transformers movies wouldn't be.
So here's the
I'm
thing
just
with
saying.
box office numbers too is if your movie makes $500 million in its opening weekend, depending on what the studio wants out of it, they will say whether or not that was a great opening or that was a lousy opening.
Well,
I mean, it does tie into the movie cost $250 million to make, and it made $500 million in its opening weekend. That's great. But they also may turn around and go, oh, yeah, that was not what we were hoping for.
most blockbusters, whatever their budget was for making it, you can almost double that for what they spent on marketing.
Yep.
That's why a movie needs to make 3 times its box office to be considered a success. But there's always, it's like how I think it was like New Line or whoever else co-produced Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
Like it took Peter Jackson years to get paid because they're like,
Mhm.
it hasn't made any money. You're like, fuck off. Yes, it has.
Yeah, it has.
However, in your defense, The Thing, the 2011 The Thing, has a 34% rating. So happy now?
You know what? Just go find the Blu-ray of the John Carpenter thing and then just watch it in Norwegian.
I mean, I think I have a copy. I could just loan it to you.
That's right.
I have both copies. Thank you very much.
Like on IMDb, I'm
You're
still looking.
great.
Birds of Prey is given a 6.0 stars, but fucking Live Free or Die Harder at 7.1. That's a
what-
trash movie.
Whatever.
Live Free or Die Harder is garbage.
It's
I
garbage.
saw that
I
in
did
the
not.
theater.
I knew I did not need to do that at all.
It is such a waste of both Timothy Oliphant and Maggie Q.
And Justin Long.
Yes, but
Hmm.
those two particularly is like there are villains. It's like, yeah, I've seen both of them act. You went, can you do this but more two-dimensional?
Yeah.
Could you twirl a mustache? I don't have a mustache. Could you pretend to twirl your mustache?
Also, no one wants to watch a PG-13 Die Hard. No one.
Norm, I think that you've gone too far. Like I will like accept that Aaron Duran thinks the 2011 thing is not good, like patently not good. But to say that it retroactively hurts the John Carpenter version
I
is
never-
that's just mean.
I never
That-
subscribed to any
You can't
of that.
retroactively hurt a movie that's been around for 40 years and is, again, a cult classic.
That is also where you start getting into the mentality of, well, this ruins the thing that I love because they've remade it. It's like, this has nothing to
it
do
doesn't.
with
You've
that.
ruined my childhood.
No, yeah, it doesn't ruin it. Now, sometimes I will watch a movie and think like, boy, did they fuck this up in the sequel or prequel. But I just then won't watch it.
Yeah. And as for ruining your childhood, I will purposefully go out and discover time travel so I can actually ruin some people's childhoods.
No, I got you. I have a Mexican mother. I will hit you so hard it hurts your childhood.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like, gamers saying that the open game license is ruining their hobby. How? I get there may be some shady business things. You could just buy the fucking book and do
whatever you want
and do your own homebrew setting. It's not like Harrow's going to show up and beat your ass. In fact, kids, when I put on my old man hat, there was a time that you already could do homebrew settings. It's just saying, like, and if you're mad about D&D, play something else.
We have actually here.
I saw your Pathfinder section has been mutilated, like it is drained.
Oh wow!
It is, and it has been light as it is because no one has been beating down a path to Pathfinder in the past couple of years.
Because you need a slide rule, even second. It's a crunchy fucking system. It's the RPG for nerds. It's not Traveler, but it's getting there.
And for those who don't know, Pathfinder was created because D&D went from 3.5 to 4. It pissed off a bunch of nerds. They went, no, we hate it, set it on fire, and went, fine, we're just going to keep playing 3.5, but we're going to call it something else.
Yeah.
And it's called Pathfinder. Pathfinder is D&D 3.5.
But their second edition is now a weird new version of it.
Yeah, that was the thing that lost some Pathfinder players. It's like, we're going to do a new second edition which fixes these things. It's like, no, we specifically wanted you to do this because we don't want you to ever change.
We've also spent a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
On all, and I said, well, Paizo offers up all its PDFs, and I've gone this before World War II. I get it, but as a rule, gamers don't want PDFs.
No,
they want books.
They do.
They just want books. They want them there.
It is nice to have a PDF as a backup, so you can have searchable items and it's ready on your computer. We want fucking books.
Yeah, I think literally the main reason I have a D&D Beyond subscription is so I can like quickly search for a spell or a rule and it pops. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Instead of flipping, what book's it in? What page is it in?
Yeah.
Because I'm way past the age of having the player's handbook and the DMG memorized. That's a young gamer's game.
Who the hell does that? That's
I did in second edition. When nothing else was in my head.
Yep. But like, there are so many RPGs out there.
There's so many.
I was unpacking my garage this weekend and I found my my little bin of the Star Wars game, the ship, what was it called?
Star Trek game, Attack Wing.
Yeah, Star Trek. Sorry, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No,
I got a little nostalgic there.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of other games,
I still have more stuff we can still play.
I still got my stuff.
We've already got a game.
We do.
I only have so much time for games.
Yeah, until I start getting paid to run games, I'm gamed. I'm tapped. Yeah,
sure, that's fair. Nope. I had a thought. It's gone.
What? Oh, about the OGL thing?
Probably.
I look. I read the one that got released. It was a really shitty. Also, on one level, I'm still amazed the OGL even fucking happened way back in the day. Like,
sure,
that's amazing. Because that would be like Microsoft opening up their code for anyone to then design their own operating system for.
Which they should do.
I know. But then you get Linux people. Oh, I don't know.
I was like, they won't do that. That's why there's Linux.
Yeah.
Linux is the Pathfinder.
Yeah. Well, no, because you have to pay for Pathfinder still. Linux is totally open source and free to use.
Yeah. You got to be a super nerd. You got to be able to play Traveler to understand it. I always rip on Traveler because it's a needlessly convoluted system where you can
die in character creation in Traveler. There is no fucking point to that.
Yeah.
How is that appealing? Like, who wants that?
Oh, the people that are into Traveler are really into Traveler. You know who
Yes,
loves
they
Traveler?
are.
Engineers and Rush fans.
Okay. Yeah, that scans. That absolutely scans. Moving on.
That Venn diagram is a circle, my friend.
Yes, it is.
No shade on you, Keith Norton, but I know you love the Traveler system. 100%. I know you do.
Shout out to a real one.
That's right. Look, and really, there's only one system that really deserves the hatred and ire of the entire gaming community, and that would be GURPS.
Yes.
The generally unplayable role-playing system.
GURPS?
GURPS is awful.
It stands for Generalized
Universal
Role-Playing Game.
Yeah. There was a time that GURPS got the license to every other game you could ever think of, and a lot of fantasy settings, and even like weird settings, like David Gerald's War Against the Couture got a GURPS setting book. There was GURPS Vampire the Masquerade. Like,
here's my...
It's bad. So bad.
Here's my issue with GURPS. This is the opinion of Cable Hashtani.
That it's a Steve
as a
Jackson?
person. That in no way, shape, or form reflects on Guardian Games, Burke Retail, or any of its subsidiaries.
Yes.
Steve Jackson, it's a Steve Jackson game, and Steve Jackson is a piece of shit.
Oh, I don't know that part.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to do this, and then I motherfucking want to talk about your book.
Oh, that's right.
Steve Jackson Games makes Munchkin. They make GURPS. They make a lot of games. They make the Illuminati.
Yeah.
He very famously had a tiff with the FBI that he won.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He's also a fucking homophobe.
Oh, really? I didn't know any of that.
So there is a volunteer system called Men in Black. If you are part of Steve Jackson's Men in Black, that means that you get games from Steve Jackson, you get information.
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to go out in the community and teach people Steve Jackson games. It's a great thing.
That's a cool idea.
It's an ambassador program.
The ambassadors for the Portland metro area were summarily dismissed for no particular reason given. However, I happen to know these people. I am also not naming names, obviously. They are a husband and wife that also have a girlfriend. Fine. This is Portland.
Philandering.
That's 1/3 of the country.
I assumed he meant like in the the inappropriate way.
Not
the Portland way.
This is the Portland way. They're 100% poly. It's cool. They were let go because Steve Jackson Games found out about this. And they are very much, no, marriage isn't between a man and a woman. It's like, oh, you're that kind of motherfucker. Cool. I want nothing to do with Steve Jackson Games. The day that we get told that we don't have to carry them anymore, I'm going to jump for joy and burn every.
How well does it sell anymore?
Munchkin?
Yeah,
it still sells.
Wow.
Because people play it once and they're like, oh, this was really fun. I'm like, cool. Steve Jackson is a piece of shit.
Look, the first few times you play Munchkin, it is fun because it's chaotic and wacky, but eventually you're like, this game doesn't really
The second time you play Munchkin, you're like, oh, wait a minute. And the third time you play Munchkin, you're like, I'm out.
I've definitely played Munchkin at least twice, and I do not give a shit.
See? Yeah, that's where you are.
Okay, before we jump to my stuff, there is one more role-playing game that also, like, rules-wise is ridiculous. But it's so batshit crazy bonkers and lets you do whatever you want. I'll give it a pass. And that would be Rifts by Palladium. Rifts is like, what? You want to play a mech? Yes, I do.
Yep.
Great. What do you want to play? A Ninja Turtle? Fantastic. What do you want to play? Cybernetic Transdimensional Dragon. Awesome. Rifts is like, fuck it.
Yeah, Rifts doesn't exist anymore, though.
Oh, shit.
Rifts was bought by Savage Worlds. So Savage Worlds owns Rifts. Rifts now exists in the Savage Worlds system.
That means even more settings can show up in Rifts.
Yeah.
Deadlands. All right.
We also don't carry Savage Worlds because it's suddenly become hard to get. That may change now that D&D is...
Look, they're going to fix the OGL.
They've already backtracked it.
They've already backtracked it.
I will give... Like, there's a degree where I will defend Wizards of the Coast because they leaked this shit unofficially so that people would know this was happening. I lay the majority of the blame of this at the feet of Hasbro. Hasbro is a piece of shit.
Yeah, and the Wizard CEO comes from the non-role-playing world.
Yep.
Traditional capitalist world.
Yep.
And I think I said this one time. By definition, role-playing games cannot be exploited. They don't work under late-stage capitalism.
No,
because as a rule, it is an analog form of entertainment that takes place in people's private homes. The organized online play you see and that kind of stuff, that is a niche within a niche of this market.
Right.
And
for many years, there wasn't a quote unquote market.
Yeah. So you
at all.
can't use the modern trappings of capitalism and apply it to role-playing games because quite frankly, like once you have the main books, you don't need anyone else. If you really boil it down to its core, you do it because you like it. But once you drop that $150 for the 3 core books, like you can be done.
Yep.
That's how it used to be for a long time, right?
Yeah.
After that, it's just pen, paper, and a couple die.
The game that we're playing together, like we have the core book. It's now defunct. That
Still
doesn't
playing.
stop us from playing.
We just do whatever we want. We do whatever you decide to make up in your mind and with your imagination.
When time allows, I'll still play the old West End games of Star Wars. I love it.
Yep.
It's a cool set. It was a cool rule set, all that.
That may be what finally gets Hasbro into hot water, by the way.
Star Wars?
No, actually, Marvel. The original Marvel superheroes.
The TSR one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was based on Dungeons and Dragons.
Was it?
In that, because that was owned under that OGL wording, that means Hasbro could say, "Oh, that means we own Marvel. We own this Marvel superheroes."
Oh, they got to take on the mouse.
That's the thing that they aren't aware of. That it's like Hasbro money can outlast almost every independent RPG company out there. They do not have Disney money. And if they go after Marvel, Disney will fucking buy Hasbro and end this. Which I also don't want to happen.
I don't think it's a good idea.
No, I don't want Disney to own Magic and Dungeons and Dragons. Fuck that. I don't want Hasbro to own them.
Oh, but you could imagine the theme park.
I can imagine the theme park.
Imagine the Monopoly.
But I also don't want to imagine that that's where I have to work.
It's too much.
You know what?
Because that's going to be the only jobs available.
I guess I'm getting old enough now. Whatever. I'm like, fuck it. Give me my bread and circuses. Whatever.
Well, yeah, I understand where we're all reaching our own inner George Carlin.
Yeah.
About, nope, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah.
I no longer have any.
Does that mean there's actually going to be a D&D roller coaster? Fantastic. Fucking A, man.
Oh, a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride style D&D ride.
Yeah.
Planeswalkers roaming the park.
Oh my! See?
Oh no!
That's what I'm telling you,
what
man.
What did I do?
You're not anti-selling this.
You're not helping.
I'm not helping.
You could have breakfast with Urza. You know, that's fucking dope. Elminster Story Hour.
A Ravenloft themed Tower of Terror.
Oh, from
your
lips to the Lady of Pain's spiky ears.
They would have to create a different part.
Not even the Tower of Terror. I just need a haunted mansion, Castle Ravenloft.
That would be great.
They would
Is
just
this
create
tower actually
part,
stretching?
Which is all of like it would be, Candlekeep. It would be they would have the yawning portal.
The yawning portal would be the dead center. It would be Sleeping Beauty's castle of Disneyland. And instead of adventures, you have Ravenloft, you have Forgotten Realms, you have Dragonlance. Yeah.
I'm gonna feel real bad if I just if I
Planted a
Beetlejuice this
seed.
into existence. I'm really sorry, D&D fans.
Just imagine like the 5-headed Tiamat churros you could get. Strawberry, blueberry, vanilla, chocolate, and lime, because the green head, right? Green apple.
I was
It'd
going
be
to go with green apple.
Green apple.
Yeah.
Can you guys vamp while I come right back?
5-headed churro.
Oh, and you know they would sell it like in a collectible bucket, and each churro would have a little plastic dragon head that you had to take off,
no.
so that when you were done, you could wear Tiamat's body on your hand, and your fingers are like, I'm Tiamat.
See, this is exactly what Disney would need to combat the wizarding world of Universal Studios.
Do you feel like they need to fight them?
I feel that there is always an undercurrent
Yeah.
of war between the amusement parks.
Okay.
Not so much Universal, but the wizarding world. Like Harry Potter
That
is
part of
Warner
it.
Brothers' 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, the wizarding world is part
It is part of Universal.
It is part of Universal. Go, do your thing. Go vamp.
You were saying.
Yeah, if you were to do that sort of thing, yeah, the end result of Disney, if Hasbro does this and Disney goes, fuck you, no, you're not. Like I said, Hasbro lawyers can go toe to toe
with just about anybody.
with all of the independent. The only way that all other RPGs win that lawsuit is class action.
Mhm.
They have to class action lawsuit.
I was
against
thinking that
Hasbro.
exact because we talked about this on Thursday.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, there's always class action.
But if they don't and they try to do it individually,
That'll never
that doesn't work
out. Mm-hmm.
As always, games are always better when they're collaborative. Play with each other because that's how you defeat the BBEG. Hasbro is the BBEG here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if they loop the old Marvel superheroes into that and try to fuck with Disney has every resource to just go, yeah, no.
Yeah, unlimited resources.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to sue. They could just buy Hasbro. And if they bought Hasbro, that would give them
A lot.
way too much.
Well, let's take a quick break and then come back for reels.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Welcome back. That's such a weird thing.
I like how
Magic of editing.
This is it's funny when we're like, what are we going to talk about? And then that turns into an hour and a half of, so what are we talking about?
Trying to get to the one thing we
Get
thought
in
we
line
would do.
now for Mordenkainen's Magical Mountain. So I have a book coming out in like a week.
You do.
Yes.
You do. It's not a new book. It is the 5 issues that you have previously put out.
Yes.
Now in one book form.
In one collected trade paperback format. Yeah, Season of the Bruja Volume 1 lands Wednesday, January 25th. So by the time most people listen to the show, yeah, in a week.
Okay. You said paperback form?
Yeah,
Okay.
paperback.
Trade paperback.
I do have another cool announcement, though.
Okay.
I knew this has been coming for a long time, and I know both of you have known.
Mm-hmm.
But right around issue 1, we had already sold the Spanish language rights for Europe and most Spanish-speaking countries.
Okay.
Astiberri is a publisher in Spain that bought the rights to it. So they're not doing single issues. They're doing a collected book, but it's going to be like a real pretty larger format, matte finish hardcover, because that's how they do their books.
I love matte.
So it's going to be very, very sexy. I do believe it's also getting a dust jacket. I think.
Classy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, next Wednesday, the issue drops. And then that following Saturday, January 28th from 3 to 5, I will be at Books with Pictures doing a signing.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
So yeah, it's been a long road. Sorry. But it has been since like this was initially pitched in like 2018.
Boof. God, that long?
October 2018. was when Shauna Gore and I took the pitch to then Lion Forge.
Right. Was it Line Forge, not Oni?
It was Lion Forge.
Okay.
This
God,
book
my
has survived
memory is
so
bad.
many things.
Lion Forge and Oni then merged.
Yes. That much I am quite clear on. When did the first issue drop? I don't even remember it.
It was March of last year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, March.
So at least there's that, like less than 12 months to go from first issue to your first trade.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was a pretty quick turnaround. And in fact, initially, Volume 1 was supposed to come out in December. But because of supply chain issues and other things, it couldn't come out in December, which is probably for the best, because December traditionally is a bad month for trades.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't do well. You'd think like, but Christmas? No,
Sure.
Interesting.
they don't do well.
I feel like that's the time I'm most likely to buy a trade so I can make it a nice gift for someone.
Yeah, no, but
Sure, but
Shows what I know.
that the percentage of people that understand that are about as on par with grandparents trying to buy Pokemon cards for their grandchildren and just buy a gift certificate because they don't know.
it's easier.
Sure.
It's like, I don't want to get the wrong thing. I'm just going to give them money.
And then I found out a couple days ago that Season of Bruja made one of Powell's picks for January, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
It's like the little book that like just keeps going kind of thing. The little witch that could. Because like I've mentioned it a little bit, and some people might be sick of it. Like this book had almost everything thrown at it to like knock it off course.
Mm-hmm.
Like it had corporate buyouts and mergers and a pandemic and a mass firing, and then more corporate shenanigans, and like just kept going. It just kept going. Like so, when a lot of other books kind of got taken down, Season of the Bruja kept going, and I keep calling it Volume 1 for the power of positive thinking.
Yes, you manifest that shit.
Yeah. The book's going to have some extras. We didn't have to really do a lot of times in the trades is when they'll clean up a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any of that. There was a couple of things that some folks felt might have been inappropriate, but I like defended my case, and then I finally ended with like, also it's my book. If this part offends people, they can yell at me. That's fine, and I'll answer why I kept it in.
I mean, I suppose that's probably how it should be, right? Like it's one thing for the publisher to be like, well, people might have a problem with this, but at the end of the day, it's your book that you wrote, and if you are willing to bear the brunt of any backlash, it's the words written inside of this comic book are strictly the opinions of one Aaron Duran, not the publisher.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not really a bad thing. I think it was somebody like really overthinking. I'm like, you're really overthinking this too much.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us the specific?
I'll say to you off camera.
Okay.
I'll tell you guys that.
It is dumb. I'll tell you that. If it's what I think it is, because I'm pretty sure we talked about it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's some nonsense.
Great.
Never mind. Yeah. Again, off mic, I'll say it.
Off mic.
But like a lot of times, if like something was wrong in terms of like text or balloon placement, you'll fix it in the trade, and it hasn't really needed that. The trade's going to show like all the different covers. Including the David Aja cover, which we finally got to show like last week.
Mm-hmm.
That gorgeous cover he drew for us.
Nice.
Yeah.
And all of these things are available on your social media. So if you haven't seen them,
like they're all over it. Like I'm like just going like crazy on here. There are a few extras that I have not mentioned at all on social media. There's a fun little thing in the back that I'm really happy I got to include.
Cool.
Which now I'm also realizing that I might be making a habit of it because I got to do something similar in Lazarus.
I was just going to say.
So I might be starting to get known as that person, which that's fine. I think that's funny.
Everyone, gets to have their little shtick.
If Greg Pak can put out an entire cookbook, it's fine.
Yeah. Bex, did you get any say in anything change, anything extra? There's some extra stuff. Nothing was going to get changed, but I would have had final say. I mean, I guess editorial could have stepped in and be like, no, you're fucking wrong here. But myself and Sarah were gonna have like final say. There were some things where Sarah's like, I'm not redrawing that. For the trailer.
Nice.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna ask you to. I always felt like that was kind of partially my job as the writer. Also, was in certain things like run blocking for Sarah, because our jobs were equally hard, but hers is way more time consuming. And the last thing I felt like she needed to deal with was like the minutia of little things. I'm like, if it's something that Sarah needs to know about, like I'll let her know. But a lot of times there would be email exchanges where someone would be like, well, Sarah could just redraw this panel. I'm like, no, she's not. Like, there's nothing wrong with the panel. It's fine. Everything works. You just are uncomfortable with it till any moment. I'm not going to ask Sarah to change it.
Well, uncomfortable with what exactly?
Again, it'll be an off mic thing. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
and I feel like I'm being like vague, like there was like some like nasty ass scene in my little book about a 19-year-old witch. Like, no, there's not. You know,
it's just someone like being like
it's
super specific.
It's someone doing their job.
Yes.
And they have to do their job. And that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
It doesn't mean they're right. It just means that.
But yeah, Bex, there's a fun extra in there that I'm super excited about. And then there's what the book means to us write-ups that both Sarah and I got to do. That was kind of fun to do. So that also hopefully means that sometime this year I will be sent to Spain.
Woo!
To do a convention over there. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I'm super pumped for that. Hopefully it'll be in Barcelona. That's where Sarah lives.
That would make the most sense, wouldn't
it? Would make the most sense. And there's a big show in Barcelona.
Not the planet Barcelona.
No, Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I speak English good. I am learning English. I read it from a book.
Where the dogs have no noses.
That's right. So yeah, it'll be on the 25th. I'm trying to think of anything else that I haven't like talked about before with the book.
I know we did a long one of these after all the individual issues were out.
And I tried really hard to find a way to get Sarah on the show, but she's 8 hours ahead of us.
Yep.
So unless I didn't want to do a pre-recording with just me interviewing her because that would be weird.
I can see why that would be a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
But we could totally make that happen.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah.
Pardon me.
Trying to think just what else I could add to it. I'm super excited. If anyone ever has any questions about how certain elements came to life, like I'd be more than happy to answer anything. There are a couple pages in there that I warned Sarah. I was like, you're. So when I initially described the museum that they work in, I just said like, put some like weird, creepy, occult tchotchke somewhere, but don't feel like you have to go too crazy because as the series progresses, there's going to be quite a few scenes like in the museum. And Sarah turned in like the most detailed half-page panel of this museum where like there's stuff everywhere inside it. And I told her, I was like, you're going to regret this when more scenes get. And then I think it's about half of the book. She's like, why did I do this to myself? I was like, I told you. I found out something kind of sweet about her. So there's a scene towards the middle of the book where we see another like Catholic church in the background. It turns out that is the church that her abuela goes to in Spain.
Oh, right on.
So that was kind of sweet. She's like, even though my abuela doesn't understand a single word in this book, she did recognize the church.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
I would say, coming from an artist background, that I would do something dumb, like fully render what a room looks like.
Yeah.
But that's because I know that things exist, tools exist that I would be able to draw that from multiple angles and then be able to switch that around.
That's true.
So that, like digitally, you can drop that in.
Right.
If I've already created it, that makes it easier for me to do any sort of blocking for any of the characters. Yeah, it's a lot to redraw, but I know what the room looks like.
Yeah.
I know where things are. It becomes more grounded. It becomes more real to me. So
that makes sense. I do try a lot when I first start working with an artist. I always like to ask them, like, what do you hate drawing? And not to be mean, to be like, okay, can I avoid including this?
Right.
Like I know artists that are like, please don't ask me to draw horses. Apparently, horses are really hard to draw.
You ever tried to draw a horse?
No, I can't draw at all. I do stick figures. Horses and Darth Vader because of the angles on the mask
Yeah.
is hard to draw.
Yeah.
I think one of our friends has said that he hates drawing horses. So when he did a short for the old guard, he was given the Civil War one. You know, just a lot of fucking horses.
It's like
that's
50% horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I draw horses, they're gonna look like Lego horses because
that's fine.
that's what I would grab for
I
reference.
think Nicola Scott likes to draw horses, though. I think she's a horse person.
She does draw a good horse.
Yeah.
Those are two different things.
Yeah, I know.
Liking
I could see Nicola Scott being a horse girl, horse woman, horse person. I don't know though. I don't. You know better than I do.
Well, not
Are we putting Nicola on blast right now? I
No.
feel like we're entering dangerous
I don't think
territory.
it's. I'm
And plus
not.
you
I'm
could
not
kick
saying
all of
it
our
like,
asses,
as an
by the way.
insult. I don't mean it like
Sure.
in a bad or offensive way. I'm just like she could be a horse person.
She could.
I would not be surprised to find out Nicola Scott is a horse person. Is all I'm saying.
They are a little nuts usually. Sorry, Anna. Oh, she'll admit it.
Anno
She's the
is
first one to
very
admit it.
Admits it's like, oh no, we're crazy. We are 100. Like, if you're going to get involved with horse people, we're nuts. Just know that
You
up
were
front.
never the priority over the horse.
No,
Ever.
ever.
Well, it's like a pet times 50, right? And like you take
They're
on.
not looked like as a pet. They're like no.
But what I'm getting at is that like when you the appropriate way to have pets is like this pet is now a part of my family and I am responsible for all of its wants and needs.
Yep.
Times 50. Horse.
Right.
Horse.
Seahorse.
Horse. Every time I see multiple horses, it's horse. I don't know why. Every time.
That's not.
There's horse.
That is not the plural
And then there's
of horse.
I know, but that's just how it is now.
That is.
Look, you do a silly thing once, and you know you get a chuckle out of it.
It's a
So
herd
then
of
you do-
whores.
So then you do it like another, once or twice, and it's still funny. Next thing you know, that's just permanent. I'm not saying it's right, Cable.
I
I'm saying it
should look
is.
with judgment. I know that there are things that I do that with.
Back to this book, though.
Yeah.
I might need this David Aja cover like as a big old
Can't
thing
say
to
yet.
hang.
Can't. There are things happening with it. That's all I can say.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
I'm allowed to
Okay.
say is that there are plans in motion for that. For
Like-
something.
In
Okay.
other words,
All I'm saying is I think I need a blown up version of this
Yeah.
art. It's great. All the covers are great though, I should say. They're all really beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
But
Had
I
nothing to
think
do with it.
I particularly like her expression
Mhm.
in that one.
It's very much like every time I see it, it's that look of like, whenever I see that expression, I always picture that expression, that version of Athalia is a few years older now. She's a bit stronger. She's a bit more control. And those are like, that look is like, fuck around and find out, but in Mexican. It's that, do you really want to try me? Like,
Yeah,
I will burn your soul down.
there's RBF and then there's Latina RBF.
Yeah.
you're gonna have to explain to me RBFF off air.
Resting bitch face.
Oh, okay.
There's another version of it called resting Keelan face, which is a face of profound disappointment.
In our family, it's just that's what you look like as a Hashitani.
No. Yeah.
Very well.
We just all look like we're very disapproving all the
Yeah.
time.
Mm.
It's that look that when I look in the mirror and I see my grandmother's face staring back at me, I'm like, oh, I remember that.
Aw.
So yeah, well, hopefully I see everybody that lives in Portland area on the 28th. It'd be cool to see everybody. Come hang out and say hi, get a boke.
Aaron's going to be very polite about this. Portland, come the fuck out. Support your boy.
Yeah,
We'll be there.
yeah.
I will be. I will be there.
Just call my name.
Thank you. With that, I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm Beanarita.
And I'm Cable Hashitani.
We will talk to everybody next week. Bye.
Bye.
Just call